I'm Audra.
And I'm Bethany.
And
there's
Walter.
I guess he doesn't want to hang out with us for this episode. But if you hear him jingling around, it's just Walter.
So we're recording from my living room. And Walter is our 8-year-old rescue who he's a cuddle bug.
He's become my buddy since I've been here. Oh, he's so sweet. Anyways, we are talking all about the comparison trap today.
Yeah.
Like the comparison of ourselves to what we see on social media, what we see people trending and doing in the sewing community, all of it, and how it has an impact on our sojo.
It absolutely is an impact.
And what we're making, and do we really love what we're making and our journey? So we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the comparison trap is, and it's not just in our creative ventures, it's also in life. It's the whole keeping up with the Joneses of so-and-so has this, so maybe I should buy this, or their kids have this, so maybe I should get this for my kids.
Yeah.
And that translates over to our creative ventures too, because we see someone making X project and we feel like we should make that project.
Or someone has a certain new machine and you feel like you need that new machine, or your machine isn't adequate enough to do what they're making, and it probably absolutely is. So it happens to the best of us. I think we all go through phases of it. It's hard not to.
Yeah, and I think there's also the aspect of creative entrepreneurs that are hoping to create their own enterprise through their creative passions. And so we see someone become an ambassador for a brand and we wonder, why not me?
Yeah.
Or someone gets a fabric line, well, why not me? And that we take that all very personally, right? Because we think that we should have that as well. And so we're going to talk about all that.
We got a lot to dive into and uncover, but we're going to start with our icebreaker today. And our icebreaker question is, would you rather have unlimited thread or unlimited needles? And we want you to answer this question over in our Social Sewist Facebook group, because I think it's going to be a mixed group. I mean, I think you and I have different opinions on it.
Yeah, we both have different answers.
Yeah, we do.
And for me, it's unlimited needles, because if you're changing your needles as often as you should be,
every 6 to 8 hours of sewing,
or every new project, you go through your needles nearly as fast as you go through thread.
Yeah.
So
sometimes faster.
Sometimes faster. So especially if you're going through some thick stuff. Yeah. So I would pick unlimited needles, because I would want to be able to go through my drawer and be like, oh, jersey, oh, denim, oh, leather, oh, Microtex, oh, nonstick, oh, and I have everything I need. So I'm unlimited needles camp. That's me.
Yeah. And I think that's valid. And I think if I didn't have a massive stash of needles, I would probably lean that way. But for me, I'm going to lean thread, because I like to do, I think a lot of people kind of have an aesthetic, or they have a niche, right? So if you're a bag maker, you have all of your bag threads and that's what you invest in, right? Or if you're a quilter, you have a certain aesthetic of, tones that you like to sew with, and you kind of have the threads you typically need. I do so many different types of sewing that I feel like I never have the thread that I need. I have a lot of embroidery thread, but I don't do a ton of embroidery. So outside of that, I kind of just sew with black and white. I don't use a lot of color, and when I've gotten into bag making, I have maybe 6 spools of bag making thread. Yeah, because it's expensive and it's just something I don't spend a lot of time doing, so I need to invest into it. And so for me, I feel like my thread stash is very much lacking, but my needle stash.
In the Social Sewist Facebook group, are you unlimited needles or unlimited thread? And there's no wrong answer. I mean, I would like unlimited all of it. Let's be
just
real.
Walk into my room and anything I need for my project just magically appears.
I remember when I was a kid, and I think it was Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, I love that show.
And I was like, if I could be a witch, I'd want to be able to bing, outfit. Bing, outfit.
I know.
Bing, outfit. And I'm like, I need that for thread and needles. I'm making this. I need just this perfect shade of polyester. Bing, there it is. That's what I need. I need
the perfect fabric shows up.
Yeah. I just want to be able to snap my fingers, and I've got the needles and the thread that I need. That's what I need.
She found out she was a witch on her 16th birthday, so I kind of secretly was like, on my birthday, like, am I gonna be a witch? Like, am I gonna wake up and find out I'm a witch today?
And I only wanted to do that. I only wanted those powers so I would have an unlimited closet of whatever. That's really the only reason. I didn't want it for any other reason than to be able to change my outfit with like a snap of my fingers.
To not have to make one more decision.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so definitely let us know. Needles or thread, but it's all fun and games. Wishful thinking.
Yeah. So comparison trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the comparison trap. And again, going back to that, keeping up with the creative.
The Joneses.
Of everyone is making X, so I feel like I need to make it too. It's the bandwagon effect. We see it in life. We see it creatively.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. Sometimes I get on board and I'm excited about it. And sometimes I'm like, why did I go down this rabbit hole? You know? And I will say that a lot of it comes from my followers or my friends, sewing friends, sending me stuff like, oh, we should do this together. Or you should make this and make a tutorial so then I feel like I can do it, you know? And then I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want to make that. But if you need that kind of knowledge, I'll find a way to give it to you. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely fall into it. I definitely fall into the trap more often than not. And I mean, it's we all do it.
Well, and I think sometimes it can spur you on. I think sometimes
it's not always a bad thing.
Yeah. So I think back a couple years ago, there was a puff quilt sew along, and
I got the pattern.
I love my puff quilt.
The fabric.
And that was like the one bandwagon I think I actually followed through on was making my puff quilt.
I wish I had.
Yeah.
I still want to make it.
There's still a battle in our house over who gets the puff quilt. Like, I'm making the puff quilt and there's a battle of who gets to lay under the puff quilt, and guess who really never gets it? That'd be me.
Walter always wins, huh?
No, I'm
just messing.
But I actually followed through on that one, and I was glad I did. But I think it was definitely a like, everybody's making it, so I feel like I should make it too. But that was a good one, right? You kind of spurs along. It might spur your creative energy. So
or try something new.
Try something new. So
like, it's not always bad.
Yeah.
I did it with the quilt shoes, right? Like, so I had seen the quilt shoes. They were on my radar, but I hadn't really invested a lot into researching and starting the process. But my friend Jennifer was like, I really want to make quilt shoes, but they seem really intimidating. And when we were at Sewing Club, she's like, can we plan to do these together at Sewing Club? So I feel like I have you to help me if I get stuck. I'm like, sure. Like, I've actually really been wanting to do these. And her coming to me and saying, like, let's do it together kind of pushed me to just do it. And I did. And then that same day after I'd finished my shoes, I ordered 2 more pairs because I knew I'd want to make more. But now that I had done it once, I knew I would probably want to make a tutorial on it. So the next time I do it, it's going to be a tutorial. But I needed that push, and I'm glad she pushed me to do it, because I probably would have just gone and sewed something I wasn't really interested in. Yeah. You know, this last minute.
Well, this piggybacks a little bit on the last episode of the have to versus want to. Mm-hmm. So when we start getting down this mental comparison trap of feeling like we have to do something to keep up, or I want to be like so-and-so, so I am going to do this and kind of follow in their wake. Mm-hmm. We should be doing these creative things because we want to, because it lights our fire, because we can learn from it, because we want to grow from it. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't be doing these things because someone else is doing it.
Yeah.
If this is a project that is not lighting your fire, but this girl in your quilt guild is doing it who you really aspire to be like, or maybe are slightly jealous of, let's be real, those feelings are there.
Yeah, a little envy.
You want a little envy, so you want to be like this person, so you're doing stuff to be like someone else. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be like someone else. Mm-hmm. You need to be like you.
Yeah.
So do what honors you. This is just like last episode. Do what honors you. Do what interests you, because the comparison trap will only get you stuck in just that, a trap.
Yeah.
So
And it builds insecurity.
It does.
It absolutely, and then it shuts you down. It shuts down your sojo. I mean, it truly is a trap. And I feel like there's a difference between being inspired by what you're seeing and getting into that trap of having to do exactly what they did, right?
Yeah.
Versus inspired and then making it your own and still holding on to yourself and your creativity.
Yep.
So don't feel like you have to mirror what they're doing. I look at a lot of these things that I see that everybody's doing, and there's so many trends, but I look at it as inspiration. Like, oh, that's really cool. Like, how would I make that me? You know, it may be just my fabric choice, or it may be elevating it, adding something different to it, using decorative stitches to, embellish. I mean, like, there's so many different things that you can do to make it your own. So I think a lot of people, when they first start out sewing, they feel like they have to copy a pattern to a T. They can't really deviate because they're still learning. But it's okay, even still then, in that moment, that you can explore and show yourself without it perfectly mirroring what someone else did with like the same color schemes and all of that too.
Yeah. You totally can go that route, and it's building the confidence to know that you can make things your own.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe venture off into creative entrepreneurship and the comparison trap that's there.
This gets me hard.
It does, because we'll sometimes see people post on social media and the thoughts like, why did that go viral?
Oh my gosh.
I don't agree with that. And why does that have so many positive comments? How come they have an ambassadorship? How did they get a paid partnership?
Or all these followers. I struggle with this a lot, and I'm going to be brutally honest. I really struggle with this. I know I add value because I'm rooted in my mission of properly educating from a standpoint of over 30 years of sewing and going to school for this and having been professionally like I take that knowledge. I'm very proud of what I've learned and building my knowledge and skill set. And that's the value that I want to add. So maybe I don't post every day, but you won't see me post clickbait very often. I mean, sometimes there's a funny trend but it's not every day. And I think that's where some people get like this spike in growth. But I go through their pages and I'm like, I'm not actually learning how to sew from you, or I'm not learning any new tip or trick, at least that. And maybe that's just to grow that platform, and then they give the education on another platform, and that's fine. But for me, I always want to show up and be something that either inspires you, teaches you something new, educates you. I don't know. Like I always feel this need to add value. If you're going to stop and look at my content, I feel like I owe you value that you can walk away with. And if it's something you already knew, maybe you can share it with someone else who's new in sewing that didn't know that. That's kind of my approach. So I have a hard time sometimes with the silliness and some of the things that go viral that aren't the best practices in sewing or the best tips for caring for your machines. Like, nothing gets under my skin more than someone sharing that you should use a can of compressed air to clean your machine, and they've got like hundreds of thousands of followers, and you're like, oh my gosh, no, how do it's so bad for your machine, but they've got all these followers, and now all these people are going to start doing that, and I'm just like, it's so bad. And I know it's bad because I've had conversations with professional service technicians with these brands I work with that say that's the worst thing you could do. But how do I combat that when I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers? It's hard. It's really, really hard because social media can be, it is clickbait.
Well, the algorithm's brutal. The algorithm is going to favor, frankly, clickbait.
Yeah.
Because it's getting interactions. Hi, puppy.
Hi, Walter. He knew that we needed a pet moment. Because this is a hard conversation, because I still like following people that do that kind of stuff. I think they do add value. I just hate having to dig for it. And I want people to feel like they always have access to help.
Yeah. And I think it's very hard to take a stoic mindset of let others do their thing and you do your thing. It's the Mel Robbins let them theory.
Yeah, it's hard. I read that book and I think I need to read it like once a month because it can be really challenging.
Yeah, it's also very stoic philosophies of do you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what other people are doing. You do what you're going to do. And I think that is something I try very hard to do. I like doing some funny stuff.
Oh, I do too. Don't get me wrong.
It's maybe 10% of what I post. But the reality is you have to, you guys stay down, stay true to who you are. And that is the best way to deal with that comparison trap, is because you built your house on your land in your way with your voice. If you're trying to be like someone else, do like someone else, make like someone else, eventually it's going to fall apart because you're not actually being you.
You're not authentic.
You're not
authenticity is truly the value at the end of the day. Like I feel like I go to some of these smaller accounts that add value and I feel like I know who they are. I feel like I can relate to them. I feel like the clickbait stuff, the accounts that do a lot of that, I don't feel like I can relate to them because their content doesn't show me anything about themselves or any of that. You know what I mean?
Well, and the irony is sometimes I have to use the same advice I give Charlie as a preteen. And so, Charlie will have friend drama. And I'll say to her, like, look, your people are your people and they're not going to go anywhere. The people who are doing this are not your people. And so funny, I mean, I'll kind of see like, oh, I lost X amount of followers, and you get down about it. And then I have to remember what I tell my child, which is my people are my people. If they like my content, they'll follow me. If they don't, they'll unfollow me. And so it's that same mindset of having to go, if you're my people, you're my people. If you're not my people, you're not my people. But I want to build my brand being genuinely me, authentically me. And if that works for you, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too.
I agree so much. I pride myself in my authenticity. I truly, truly do. I pride myself in adding value, but making it fun and approachable. It's a slow burn. I just kept doing what I'm doing because I just am passionate about it. And I think if you stay rooted into why you want to do it, and maybe you need to write that down. Like when I do my goals every year, I write down like why I want to do these things and what my word of the year is. And it's just a constant reminder, and it's on my wall in my sewing room as like those check-in moments of like why I'm doing this, why I'm passionate about this, and how I want to be portrayed, portray myself and come across, because I take that very seriously. Very seriously.
And that applies not just to creative entrepreneurs, but just your creative approach in general. Like it's a good way to check in of like, creatively, who am I?
Yeah.
Why am I sewing? And we've discussed this in a couple other episodes as well. Why am I sewing? What do I hope to get out of my sewing? What do I want to grow this year? What skill do I want to learn this year? So this kind of idea of doing an internal check-in of who you are and what your goals are applies not only to entrepreneurship, but also just your creative journey yourself, for you to have those escapes from reality, or not escapes from reality, but you know what I mean? Like the outlets to help you kind of relieve that pressure valve of life.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
I get overwhelmed by it sometimes, and I feel this pressure that I have to post every day like everybody else if I want to get a bunch of followers. But as someone who works with affiliates and brands, and I manage our affiliate program, I don't look for the biggest accounts. And if they have a lot of followers, that's great. I look at the value of the content that they're adding.
Quality over quantity.
If you really do see content in the sewing industry or sewing community, I should say, that is teaching you something, engage with it. Engage with it.
Someone took time to make it.
Save it, comment, share it, put it in your stories. Engaging with it is going to help the algorithm learn that that's the value that you want.
And I mean, we will watch someone unsubscribe from a newsletter because we see it. or we'll see,
especially someone that I've built a relationship with. I'm like, one email.
And you wonder why. You're like, oh, that email
it's hard not to take it personal.
That email lost 2 subscribers. I wonder why. Like, what did they not like?
Yeah.
But then I just have to remember, like, this is me.
Let it go.
If they're my people, they're my... Again, what I tell Charlie, if they're my people, they're my people. If they're not my people, they're not my people. And
it's hard to find your people sometimes.
It is. And then going back to those that are just sewists, painters, artists, whatever creative endeavor you partake in, when you see stuff on social media, don't feel like you have to do it if it doesn't light your fire. If it doesn't fit your budget, if you don't love the fabric, if the pattern's just okay, or even if your best friend's like, ooh, let's make this together, but it doesn't light your fire, don't feel like you have to say yes. It's okay to say no, because the reality is time is finite.
Yeah.
You only have so much of it. Honor your time with what lights your creative fire.
Yeah. 100%. So
now what are we working on?
Our Stitch and Share is our sewing segment for this week. And that is basically a chat where you and I talk about what we're currently working on or have recently worked on. It could be a project. It could be a new pattern. It could be prepping for an event, something business related. We get to share that.
Yeah.
So hi, Walter.
Sorry, Walter.
If you hear the jingle, it's just Walter. What are you working on right now? As Walter comes in for a cuddle, if you're listening, you can't see, but he's getting some mommy snuggles and kisses.
So I have to laugh because every time I open my wallet, I feel like, that what's that saying about like the shoemaker's kids always have like the worst shoes? And I open my wallet. Can you get down? Oh my God. I open my wallet and I have this like fossil wallet that I've used for years.
Yeah.
It's totally falling apart. I hand make like everything else except my wallet. So I am actually making myself a wallet because I actually need a wallet. So I don't open up my wallet.
I showed you mine, right? And that's the one you're making.
That's what I'm going to make. But like I'll show you my wallet. You open my wallet, like the leather's flaking off. It's just an absolute mess. And I just have to laugh. I'm like, I should have like a really great handmade wallet, and I've got this crappy wallet that's years old. That's just
but that wasn't a priority for you.
It wasn't, but now it is. I'm going to make myself a new wallet. That is what I am making, is a wallet for myself. I've got this beautiful faux leather picked out. I'm going to edge coat it.
I know.
It's going to be great. Nice. So
I know. Yeah. I love, you know what? That's the first wallet I've ever made. Hi, Walter. Do you need snuggles from me too, bud?
If you guys are watching this on YouTube.
If you aren't, you probably should hop over because he is the cutest little snuggle bug. And he's like, hey, it's snuggle time.
Well, he's a 50-pound lap dog.
He's not small. He's not like Biscuit that I'm used to snuggling with.
Okay, you got to get down.
Go snuggle. Oh, goodness.
Okay, so what are you making?
All right, so I kind of mentioned it earlier with the quilt shoes, right? Yeah. So I love making them. They're not that hard. They look impressive. They look intimidating, but they're not. And the pattern is free when you get the soles and stuff. So I'll link my YouTube tutorial because I'm making one.
No, I have to make them. See, this is a problem. This is the comparison trap thing, right? And then
you don't have to make them.
My immediate reaction is, oh, I got to make them now too. But I actually,
But if you want to.
But I'm taking a step back and going, am I making them because everyone else is making them? Or am I making them because I really want to?
Yeah.
I do really want to make them, although I can say it's not in the top 10 of my priority list, but I would like to make them.
So for me, they were on my radar when I saw them at an expo a couple years ago, and I was like, okay, cool, that's really neat. But I didn't really dive in too deep, and then they've just always been on my radar. But there's not a lot of content on or video tutorials, and I think that's why a lot of people haven't made them, is because they need that kind of support. Walter's like gonna trip over a cord over here.
We can put. Can you lay down?
Come here.
Get up on the couch.
Come on.
Lay down.
There we go.
Thank you. Lay
down.
Lay
you can
down.
Snuggle with me, but you gotta lay down. Thank you. You switch sides. Anyways,
okay, so you saw them at a show.
I saw them at a show, and I saw some people wearing them, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I kind of learned of them, but there's not a ton of content, and out there for them. So I thought a lot of people had said, like, if there was a video, like a really good video tutorial that I could easily find, then I would probably attempt to make them. So I'm going to film that, make that. It'll be on my YouTube if you want to learn how to make quilted shoes. So that's as soon as I get home from this trip, they should be at my house. And the first step and the hardest step of the whole process of making these shoes is picking out which fabrics to use. Outside of that, once you've got your fabrics, it's easy peasy.
All right, so then I think what I'll do is I will make those, and this is where we can kind of like take a step back so we don't get stuck in a comparison trap. I would like to make them. I am going to wait to purchase it, and then when your tutorial is out, I will make them and watch the tutorial. And so I don't need to do it today, but I would like to do it in the future.
It's myself, on your radar.
Not for anyone else.
I've inspired you to do it on your own time.
On my own time.
And if you never do it, it won't hurt my feelings.
Well, and I think summer's a perfect time for me to make them because I would never want to wear them in winter in Wisconsin.
Not here, no.
So, but they'll be great for summer.
Yes, and they're actually really comfortable. That's like one of the questions I've gotten the most is, are they comfortable?
I think that was one of Dave's first questions.
Every single person that sees them, they're like, oh my gosh, those are so cute. Are they comfortable? And I'm like, yeah, they actually are. And they come with the soles, like the rubber soles, but then the inserts. But then you can put your own insert in there if you want. Yeah. So just make sure you look at the size chart and order the right size. But other than that, like mine are comfy. Nice. I love them. So that's what I'm working on is even though I've made a pair, I'm making more for you guys to make a tutorial to inspire you, but you are not guilt tripped into making them.
No. I love that both of our projects are very like utilitarian. Yeah. I am making a wallet and you are making shoes.
Shoes. I never thought I would make shoes. But you know what it is? I love trying new things. Mm-hmm. Something that challenges me. You will not find me making something over and over and over again. If I make a pattern, like a garment pattern more than once, it's really good. And if I really love it. I love how it looks on me. I love how it fits. I love everything about it. And you might want to actually make it for yourself if I make it more than once. The shoes, on some projects I make more than once because I'll make it once to test it and then I'll do a tutorial. Sure. But even then, these shoes I'll probably make a few times over. Like I already know I want to make a Halloween pair. Oh, but then I definitely need a fall pair because I love fall and I wear that for months. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm excited.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I love about sewing. That's frankly why I'm such a passionate sewist is because there's always something new to learn. Yeah. Always. There's always something new to learn, a new thread to try, a new needle to try, a new project to try, a new fabric to try, a new technique to try. Yeah. I mean, like, it's truly, truly endless, and that's why I'm so passionate
about it. I know it could be overwhelming, but I look at it as an opportunity to grow and learn. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're serious about sewing and growing your skill set, don't be scared to just try. Mm-hmm. If you need to find support with someone else to get you to push yourself to try something, like my friend Jennifer did, she's like, I really want to make these, but I don't know if I could do it by myself the first time. Like she phoned a friend. Phoned a friend, and I'm like, absolutely. Like, I want to help you. I want to support you. And this pushes me to finally make them. I've been wanting to. So again, we're always here. Mm-hmm. Send us a DM if you get stuck on something. We're happy to help. You guys know I always respond to you. I really want, we've talked about before, fear to not hold you back from growing and learning and trying. Because believe it or not, there are going to be times where you're going to try something new and either you're going to mess up, that's a learning opportunity, or you're going to find out that I really don't enjoy this. You're not going to make it again, but that's a learning opportunity. And then you can shift to do something else. Yep. So again, it doesn't hurt to try.
No, not at all.
All right. You'll love to see it.
My love to see it is that I actually will get to be using all my Italian learning on an upcoming trip. So for those of you who don't know, I talk about it on social media so often. I've been learning Italian for a couple years. Mm-hmm. Dave and I went a couple years ago. We love it. And started learning a couple years ago. We're going back to Italy, so I actually get to like apply my knowledge.
That's amazing.
It's one of those languages you don't have a ton of people that just like you run into on the street who speak Italian.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of just talking to myself a lot. And I've got some friends on Instagram that have reached out and they're like, oh, I speak Italian. So then
You can practice in a conversation.
In writing.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't get to I'm trying to talk more and more, but I'm super excited that I actually will get to be able to put into practice all my talking to myself. So I emailed the hotel directly and just wanted to confirm our reservation because the last thing I wanted to do was get there and not have a hotel reservation. I wrote them in Italian. I said, in Italian, I said, I just wanted to confirm our reservation. I'm learning Italian, so please forgive any incorrect grammar. And then she emailed me back, and I was like, I just conversed in Italian via email. And,
to a stranger in Italy.
Yeah, so it sounds dorky, but I think it's just one of those things of going back to the learning, applying what we're learning. I'm nervous. I am worried I'm going to come off a little... I don't know how I'm
I don't know. I feel like they appreciate people who try.
Yeah.
Because Italian is not as common of a language to learn. So I think they're so used to like Americans coming over and speaking in English and that's all they know. But even to just pick up on a few words, I think they appreciate that, especially when you're conversing or ordering a meal or asking for directions or those kind of things, just to be able to do some of the basics. I think they're just appreciative that you've taken the time to learn their language and value and appreciate their culture.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, what did you use to learn Italian? Is there a program?
Oh, I've done quite a few things. So I've been doing Babbel consistently, but I've also taken a couple other courses. There's a course I've taken called Italian Matters. The teacher, her name is Margherita Berti. She's great, and I really enjoy her courses. There's also some YouTube channels that I subscribe to
be able to
because listening is so key,
and seeing their mouths.
Seeing their moves. So there's actually, if anyone's interested, drop me a note. I'll share some of my resources. But in the morning when I work out, I basically do all my weights, and then I've got just YouTube Italian videos going just for kind of immersion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what
I'm
you love
excited for you.
You love to see a application of knowledge and hoping that just all the daily effort is worth it, because it's daily. I mean, I work on it every day.
That's amazing.
So
the discipline that takes.
Yeah.
It just shows how passionate you are about Italy.
Yeah.
We're going to have to plan.
We love it there.
A trip together sometime because I've never been, and I would prefer to go with someone who speaks some Italian because I probably will not be learning very much.
Bellissimo.
Oh, okay. My You Love to See It is not as exciting. Maybe I should have gone first.
You went to Australia.
Yeah, but I didn't have to learn a new language, which is why Australia is amazing.
It's true.
Although they do have a lot of slang, terms that they say that you're just kind of like, what? And then I get this confused look on my face, and then they look at me and they're like, what did you not understand about that? And I'm like, I think it was the context of using a certain word, and they're like, that's what we call. I'm like, okay, no. And then they learn from me too. So it's funny how even the same language can sound and mean very different from culture to culture. So
my friend Daisy and Grace, Nicola Walton, she has wonderful Quilt As You Go templates and patterns. She's based out of the UK. Nicola and I would have regular meetings back when I was at Missouri Star, and we would almost always start our meetings with comparisons of Queen's English versus American English.
Yeah.
So one of the ones that stuck to me most, I don't know how this came up, was arugula is not called arugula. It's called rocket in the UK.
I never heard that.
But now you'll see it sometimes in shows. If you're watching a show and they might be like Great British Baking Show, they'll say rocket, and I'm like, oh, that's arugula. But I had no idea.
I would have never known.
No, and then
the eggplant. Eggplants are
aubergine.
Not aubergine.
Aubergine. And that's a color we call aubergine it's eggplant color, but we call it eggplant. Yeah. But we used to have the best time. We would always start our meetings by comparing Queen's English versus American English.
I love it. Well, my You Love to See It is just the fact that it's getting warmer.
Yeah.
I mean, not here yet in Wisconsin, but back home,
it's hit and miss.
It's hit or miss. I feel like I have more sojo, more energy, more just upbeat mood when it's warm and summer and the sun is shining. I mean, winter just
Yeah.
I mean, I love a cozy loungewear set and I love making those, but after a while I'm like, I feel like I wear more color in the summer too. So I enjoy sewing because I'm using pretty fabrics and all of that. So for me, I am just ready for bright colors, fun clothes to wear. I mean, my wardrobe for summer is a lot, and spring and summer and stuff is a lot bigger than my winter wardrobe. And I just have fun making stuff like that. I feel like those outfits are a lot easier because they're faster. You don't have as much fabric.
That's true. You can whip together a tank top pretty fast. Yeah. Which, a few episodes ago, we talked about our favorite summer wardrobe patterns. So.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of got me in that mood. Ready for summer. Ready to get a tan a little bit, maybe. Yeah. I hibernate in the winter. Yeah. So that's I love to see it. And I know a lot of people are probably eager to start getting their sojo back if you're like me and you're just like, I need fresh air and bright colors and find the mood. So coming up next week, we have our second guest.
Yes, we do.
Do you want to tell them who it is?
Misty Doan is our guest next week.
Yes, and you and Misty used to work together. So I'm excited to get to know her because I don't know her as well as you do. Yeah. So I'm really excited to get to meet her and talk with her. And I know a lot of you are going to really enjoy that conversation. So
it's going to be great.
Tune in. All right. Well, this is our last episode together here at your house for a little while, at least. Separate. I know. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of unique perspective. I feel like it's a little different. There are some challenges. We were talking about this after we recorded the last one, is there are some challenges with recording virtually. Like there's a delay sometimes. And so I feel like it flows and vibes a little easier here, but I feel like we make it work in both places. Yeah. And we hope you enjoy it too. Yeah. So hang out with us. Social Sewist. Yes. Facebook group. Definitely want to go over there and let us know how you fall into that comparison trap. Please share that. We all benefit from it. Again, if you're enjoying this podcast, we're having a blast doing it, and we appreciate all the support and people tuning in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watching on YouTube. But if you could take a moment to comment, leave a review. Share it. Love the comments over on our YouTube videos as well. Yep. So even if you listen, you can go comment over there. Join our Social Sewist Facebook group. Continue the conversation after the episodes end, where you can talk right with us and other listeners like yourself. We just really appreciate that so much. All right. Thanks, guys. Happy sewing. See you later. Bye. Bye.